Namaskar. This video will be the fifth lecture of the soil science, and in this video I am going to discuss about some soil properties, and that's why this video will be the little bit lengthy because we will discuss the 12 soil properties. First of all, we will discuss the soil texture, and then we will discuss the structure, and then we will discuss the density of the soil, the particle density, bulk density, etc. Then we will discuss the thermal conductivity, and then discuss the temperature of the soil, and after temperature we will discuss the specific heat of the soil. Then we will discuss the porosity of the soil, and under the porosity we will discuss a little bit in a depth way the air and the water of the soil, and we will discuss the ODR of the soil. We will discuss the consistency of the soil, and we will discuss the plasticity. Then we will discuss the color, etc., and obviously the redox potential. Okay, so these 12 points will be covered in this video. That's why this video will be a little bit long. If you have not watched the 4th lecture previously, please do watch that. So first of all, we discuss about the texture of the soil. Now, what does the texture of the soil means? The texture is actually concerned with the size of the particles, size of the mineral particles, and the ratio of the sand, silt, and clay. So this two thing is important, the size and the ratio. So you have to remember the size of the soil particles, and we have to follow the international system. So we will make a chart. Here the particles, and here will be the diameter of the particles in millimeter. First of all, you remember what is the biggest particle? This is the stone, and stone has the diameter of more than 20 millimeter. And after the stone, the chronology will be like that: stone, then the gravel, then the fine earth. After the fine earth, then will be the coarse sand, and then will be the fine sand, then silt, and then clay. So just remember that stone has the diameter of the 20 millimeter, more than 20 millimeter, and the gravel has the diameter of the 2 to 20 millimeter, and fine earth has the diameter of the less than 2. Just remember up to this, and then divide it by the 100. So what will be the diameter of the coarse sand? It will be like 0.2 to 0.2 to 2, and again divide it 10, and it will be the fine diameter of the fine sand, and it will be the 0.02 to 0.2, and then again divide it by 10, and it will be 0.002 to 0.02, and less than 0.002 will be the diameter of the clay. So just remember that the diameter of the fine earth, it is the less than 2, and then divide it by 10 times, and we will get the coarse sand, and again divide the coarse sand's diameter by 10, and it will be the fine sand, then again divide it by 10, then you will get the diameter of the silt, then we will get the clay. So this is the international system, and this is quite easy. Now we have to remember the ratio. Okay, the ratio, just remember 3 ratio: that sandy soil, silty soil, and the clay soil. Which soil will be called as the sandy soil? When the percentage of the sand will be equal or more than 85%, and when the silt percentage will be the equal or more than of 80%, then that will be called as the silty soil, and when the clay percentage will be the more than 40%, then it will be called as the clay soil. So this is the ratio, and with this the variation of this ratio, suppose in sandy soil this is 85% of sand, then 20% of the silt, and 10% of the silt, and then rest 5% is the clay. So this is called as the sandy soil. But if the proportion change, and that will be considered as the defined kind of soil, and that's why this chart is important. You can see that in this chart you can see the major three soil: clay soil, silty soil and sandy soil, but difference in the ratio will generate the sandy clay loam, silt loam, just like that. But you have to remember this 3 point more. Okay, so now we'll discuss the soil properties which is actually influenced by this soil texture. So soil's texture will influence some soil properties, some physical and chemical properties of the soil. And what are those features? So first feature will be the water holding capacity. As we all know that water holding capacity is far more in clay soil but than the sandy soil, because of the ratio. The clay has the more adhesive and cohesive force to the water molecule, that's why they has the more water holding capacity. And the second point will be the nutrient retention capacity. Now third point will be the nutrient fixation. What is the nutrient fixation? Suppose this is clay soil. You can see the clay particle, and this is the gap in between this clay particle, and in between these, suppose this is the perfect place for the potassium ion. That's why in this soil you can find the more potash. But in case of sandy soil, suppose this is the sandy particles. Okay, and you can see there is the huge space between these particles. So suppose this will be the ideal for the ferrous ion. So that's why there is a difference in the nutrient fixation in the soil because of this ratio. Okay, and because of these 2 points, the nutrient retention and nutrient fixation, it actually determines the nutrient availability. So fourth point will be the nutrient availability. The fifth point will be the drainage. Okay, and sixth point will be the compressibility. It is hard to compress clay soil than the sandy soil because of this ratio. And seventh point will be the strength. When we talk about the strength, there is one important point that is actually called as the resistance. Suppose this is a soil A and you are applying plowing into this soil, and you are feeling that it is very hard to enter the plow inside this soil. That's why this soil has the high resistance. Okay, so the high resistance soils actually regarded as heavy soil. Heavy soil is not heavy because of the weight of that soil particles. It is heavy because of the providing of the high resistance. Whereas suppose this is a soil B, suppose this is a sandy soil, and you are applying plowing into this sandy soil, and you can feel that it is very easy to enter the plow inside this B soil compared to the A soil. That's why it is exhibiting less resistance. As it is exhibiting less resistance, this is called as the light soil. It is not upon the weight, but if you consider the weight, you can find that the heavy soil has the less weight than the light soil. So the heavy soil and light soil is not because of the weight, rather than the resistance to the farming practices, resistance to the implements. Paddy, the cotton, the sorghum, these crops are actually suitable for the heavy soil. But the groundnut, potato, tobacco. This soil is actually suitable for the light soil. So that's for the soil texture. And another important point is that loamy soil is the best for the agricultural purposes. So now we'll discuss about the soil structure. As video is going to be very lengthy, that's why we have divided these soil properties into 3 to 4 parts. This is the first part where I have discussed the soil texture. In the later part, in the later video, I will discuss about the soil structure. So do check this playlist. I have given it in the I box or in the description box. You can find that. You can go there and you will find the later soil properties lectures for free. And thanks for watching. Do subscribe us and also do please share with your friends. That will help us to cover more topics, more important and complex topics in a easy and funniest way.